This shouldn't be happening. Not in an American city. But it is. The Pentagon has quietly placed troops on standby. Not for a foreign war. Not for a natural disaster. But for Minneapolis, Minnesota.
You'll hang for this! We are gonna hang you when this is over! You'll hang for this! You'll hang for your treason! You'll hang for what you're doing here! We the people are coming for you!
Minneapolis, Minnesota. An American city where federal agents are actively being tracked, followed, and doxed. And a state that remains under scrutiny for what federal investigators are saying is the largest fraud case in American fucking history. And once you understand how these two stories intersect, it becomes fucking impossible to ignore. Even legacy media, who spent years downplaying this, are now starting to admit that something is starting to fracture. The political structure which dominated Minnesota for over half a century is starting to crumble. Not quietly, but gradually. But this time, is documented in real time.
On behalf of all hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens here inside of the United States, help bring to light widespread fraud that's happening inside our nation, and we the people have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters as if it's no big deal.
Here's one of the things that largely went unfucking noticed. Following the recent ICE incident, which happened in Minneapolis, encrypted messages started following and flowing throughout the city. No demonstrations, and definitely not rallies. Coordination. Residents and locals are sharing fucking vehicle descriptions, sharing license plate numbers, and using everyday fucking objects to create improvised road barriers. Unmarked federal vehicles being followed through residential neighborhoods. Parents reportedly being handled whistles when they're dropping their kids off at fucking school. Not for safety drills. This isn't fucking protests. This is counter-surveillance. Federal agents are now saying these tactics are being linked to multiple states, linked to organized trained networks that are designed to disrupt and cause mayhem to ICE immigration officers during their investigations. Entire fucking neighborhoods are alerted. People start falling out of the fucking woodwork, coming after and harassing our federal agents. Investigators say it has moved from an observation to an all-out obstruction of justice. Legally speaking, that crosses a fucking line. But what if I told you immigration was never the central issue? The real shift came when investigators followed these prick fucks and the money.
Elon Musk took to X to call Minnesota Governor Tim Walz a traitor over his state's alleged fraud schemes.
You see, in Minnesota, these congressional oversight hearings, there was leaders that were warning of rampant fraud. The whistleblowers claimed they were sidelined, removed. They were fucking silenced. And over the past several years, federal prosecutors believe that billions of dollars were improperly distributed throughout the Minnesota welfare fraud system. Not millions, billions. Court filings are showing that these prick fucks continued to take money as they were being federally investigated with no remorse and 100% entitlement. Ultimately, stealing money from the hard-working, tax-paying citizens.
I think he's certainly a traitor to the taxpayers of Minnesota and generally also to the population in Minnesota that requires the services that basically were not delivered. So yes, I would go along with that. I mean, after all, the Minnesota budget, remember Ashley, is only about $66 billion. If it's true that somewhere between $1 and $18 billion went missing, that is a giant hole, and it's almost impossible to imagine.
And this kind of behavior reframes fucking everything. This isn't political neglect. This is systemic. And consider the fucking timing. Non-citizens were counted in our population, enrolled and allowed to vote, and put into welfare, which grew rapidly, and oversight shrank even quicker. And why does this even matter? Think about it. Population determines who's in power. Congressional representation, electoral college votes, federal funding formulas. This wasn't about compassion alone. This was about fucking leverage.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
So we give driver's licenses to anyone here. You don't have to be a citizen. You don't have to.
And now that the structure is under strain, ICE operations have expanded, arrests have increased, and self-deportations are quietly being acknowledged. Analysts have warned even a slight decrease in minority population in Minnesota could cost them a congressional seat, an electoral vote, and billions of dollars in federal allocations. So you can imagine they're sweating in their undies, or should I say, panties.
Every time we do a national head count, all the political maps have to be redrawn to make sure that there's an even number of people in each district. And that happens on a national basis, too, which is why Minnesota could be on the verge of losing a seat in Congress.
We're one of 10 states slated to lose a seat based on the 2020 census preliminary estimates, missing the cut by just 25,000 people.
And this is the exact context that matters, because we know that's when these prick bastard snake bucks start conspiring and planning.
Turning violent with one group attempting.
So in short, in Minnesota, a state which has been blue for over 5 decades, takes a political shift. And this so-called blue wall fucking fractures and turns red, and the national electoral map changes for years. So hell no. This isn't just immigration. This isn't just another fucking fraud case. It looks more like a fucking structural realignment of American politics. Unfolding quietly, methodically, step by step.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
Hey, let me shut down the city! We are at war!
We're at war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be. You can only push people so far, and then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this fight. This is actual.
And these are the exact types of situations that make people like me, and I'm assuming people like you, not trust people like this. Fueling me to dive down rabbit holes in speculation in search of the truth. And I will find the truth. I'm your boy Bear Jacks. Thanks for following along with my journey. Remember to hit that like and possibly even the hype button for more exciting content just like this. And until the next one, peace out.